Chapter 8, Kidada, page 21. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kidada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiancée and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just a part of life. Meeting Kidada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was about the same time I met Kimura. These were the those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk. And the fact she was dating someone I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kidada. Kimura was too jealous for that. Yes, Kidada knew about Kimura, Sean, and I, all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kidada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all the tension and beef, we used to all hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But with Pac's shooting and the suspicious surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes between Kidada and I weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We rolled up, pause, we dolled up as the men groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our collared. Why the fuck did I just say collared? We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes. A makeup artist did our makeup, and a hairstylist did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylist in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken. But this time, Kidada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong. But when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, as far as props, I had nothing on Kidada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks, and superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast, musically. With all the hits, there were, I'm tongue tied right now, y'all. Excuse me. Y'all done made me lose where I was. Okay, here we go. With all the hits, there really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is, why am I fucking up right now? Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kidada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As she sat, Sean said, Bad Boy's gonna clean the fuck up. From his table with Faith, Chris replied, Hell yeah. And that new shit we busting out, gonna have these niggas sick. Kidada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of the ginger ale that sat over at her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, Pac's music gonna get some love too. Sean grimaced. Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got y'all differences, but you have to admit, the man makes great music. Sean looked at me out the corner of his eye, then took another sip of his favorite cognac and replied, Bad Boy got the hottest music on the fucking planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody gotta get their shine, right? Kidada sighed. Sean, Ta- Kidada sighed. Sean, Tupac thinks you were involved with getting him shot. You two were so close. You need to make this right. Sean responded indignantly. Why the fuck would that nigga think I had anything to do with it? Kidada retorted. Sean, can you blame him? Sean was obviously not happy with the question by his reply. Hell yeah, I blame him. We had a good thing going, all of us. That nigga turned on me. And he has the fucking balls to blame me for his shooting? The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting. Do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night. Kimoya heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down. She sat down and said, "Hey everybody," with that big dimpled smile. I smiled and replied, "Hey." Kidada also seemed happy to see her as she said, "Hey, what's up, Kimmy?" Kimura, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight at it. The whole place is buzzing with the fact that you're sitting here loudly accusing Sean of having Pac shot. Y'all kinda, loud. She laughed. Kidada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering. But she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. We all know Sean was behind it. Kimura forced a smile. Honey, we don't have to do this here. Kidada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot. Sean clenched his hands into fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones's daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets. Well, feared by men that knew. But he did not want any of the smoke Quincy Jones could bring. Kidada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary, both wanting to defend the super producer that made them both famous, both started to stand and make their way over to the table. But Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats watching helplessly. Kidada seemed to be on full rampage. You're not safe in the streets, Sean. You think you're untouchable? Kimura seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kidada by the hand, saying, I gotta go to the restroom. Kidada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, Let go of me. Kimura needed her to grip. Kimura needed her to get a grip and said sternly as a parent speaking to a child, mid-tantrum, Die. Kidada turned to her and yelled, What? Kimura nodded toward the crowded room, and Kidada looked around. Here she deflated slightly. Kimura, now in control, spoke firm but softly. Let's go powder our nose. Kidada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted away, I asked Sean, You okay? Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around, saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get the picture of ginger ale from Kidada's table. He poured himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, and put the picture under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my God, is he peeing in the picture? He smiled at me. He brought the picture back from under the table and finally replied to me, I'm good. He then stood and returned the picture to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we've had an argument again. Kidada and Kimura made their way back to Kidada's table to sit as Sean watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for? As Kidada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking, as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath, if I'm right. Relieved, I replied, Babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs. Sean glared at Kidada's table the entire night. Chapter 9, Going Back to Cali, page 26. We had a wild night. It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everyone was there, and we not only had threesomes, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would have never been able to do with a straight man. Sean cared about me, but it was becoming more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was there more to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. Outside doing outside shit. He was like Caesar, every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that age, I was becoming okay with it. Let me read that again. But truthfully, at that stage, I was Excuse me. Okay. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with it. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pinkett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom with XXX and Will Smith. Yes, XXX attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will kind of snuggled up on the bed together. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room. I didn't really like XXX. Sean smiled when he saw me. Good morning. Here at the orgies, he wasn't very affectionate. He didn't have to pretend, but he couldn't walk straight. I knew how his ass felt, literally. We've had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him, I'm getting ready to go. He responded, let's have a cup of coffee first. Let's have a cup of coffee first. This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I really didn't have a choice. He was becoming more violent when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight, so I sat down. But before we started talking, XXX came out of the room. Sean was wearing boxers. XXX was in his birthday suit. X addressed us, morning. When he turned around, in order to close the door, there was a dry cum stain on his back. X walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Sean stretched, smiled, and said, this East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous. X responded, surprised. Business first thing in the morning? Damn, cuz, you own it. But you know you don't got nothing to worry about. You got a pass, daddy. X smiled coyly. Sean apparently had something to talk about with X as well, because he said, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent. X was taken aback by this turn of events by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued. It's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't get 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What does Sean want from me? This morning is turning out to be way more than I expected, and I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, X apparently wanted clarity. So, to be clear, if something happened, X made a quotation marks with his fingers, to one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it would be considered, he makes another set of quotation marks, out of your control. Is this what you're saying? Wait a minute. Can they be talking about Biggie? Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hungover to understand that this is not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older, wiser me understands now that I did not comprehend all those years ago. Sean was just getting to the reason, to the real reason that he had X here. The world, the world was about to lose Biggie. X laughed. You a cold motherfucker, Sean said. Why the fuck should I protect someone that isn't gonna stick around? I made him. That nigga should be worshiping the ground I fucking walk on. I was thinking, Sean's ego was rearing its ugly head, and I wanted to get out of there. But instincts told me I need to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any part of this, not even implicitly. But I was just dragged right into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, will I be held as an accomplice? But even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but Sean, he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I'm not killing anyone, but I'm not protecting somebody that doesn't have my back 150%. Fuck that. This was railing out of control. My mind began to race. Is there a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. You put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw all of that away? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting really was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off of his death will blow away all the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, he continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculated monster. X chimes in. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Biggie dead too. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Biggie is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything else about it. Sean smiles and stands to walk over to a safe behind a picture. There he pulls out a bag marked with X's name on it. He turns to X and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me. Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. X smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure to have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to get to Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me, responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss from me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank God. X always with something to say. I love to meet the little tyke sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy creeps me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Chapter 10, The Lies You Tell, page 30. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while, and we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time, for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked it up anyway. Hi, Sean. He sounded trepidatious as he said, "We've been broken up for a while this time." Yeah? He continued, "I don't want anyone to know about my..." He paused to search for the right word. Proclivities? I replied, "So you don't want people to know you are gay?" I read that wrong. Let me try it again. Okay. "We've been broken up for a while this time." Yeah? He continued, "I don't want anyone knowing about my..." He paused to search for the right word. Proclivities. I replied, "So you don't want people to know about you being gay?" Sean exploded. "See, that's why I fucking lose control with you." So I just plainly stated, "Goodbye, Sean." "Wait," he screamed. "What, Sean?" "I'm sorry, okay?" "You're always fucking sorry." He took a deep breath. "I have to do something to cover myself." I sighed. "Do whatever you fucking want, Sean. When you see this on the news, it's not real." This made me calm down for a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued, "I'm only doing this for the press." "Doing what, Sean?" After a long pause, he continued, "She knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me." "Sean, what the hell are you talking about?" Another pause. "Publicly, I'm going to be dating someone else. A video girl." I laughed. "Why would you do that?" "I have to cover myself." I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than him. I read that wrong too. "Publicly, I'm going to be dating someone else. A video girl." I laughed. "Why would you do that?" "I have to cover myself." I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than at him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to video vixens in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Did he prefer them light-skinned, big butt girls from videos? I calmed myself. No, I know he likes men. Any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, "Why the hell are you telling me this?" He sighed. "I wanted you to find out from me first. Like I give a shit." He came at me with his favorite line, "You know I love you." It was getting old. I could only think to myself, here we go. Love is a big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating someone else. I replied, "You don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt." He sucked his teeth as he responded, "Come on, are you serious? That shit's for children. We aren't in fucking high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hit you if I didn't." Wait, wait, that sounded wrong. You said exactly what you meant. He took a breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact that I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. Kim, no one that I... Kim, No one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me. I wanted to say, is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs? But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, you say that while you're dating some other bitch? That's just for the public? I was done. It could be heard in my voice as I said, whatever, Sean. Do what you need to do. Leave me alone. I'm never giving up on us, he cried. I responded to that emotional control attempt with the little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him, he threw out. His emotional manipulation was really driving me crazy. This time I said with much more conviction, goodbye, Sean. I hung up. Manipulative bastard. Chapter 11, More Problems, page 33. For a while, I was actually happy to see Sean gone. I was getting older and the sex parties were out of control. I was getting time for me to slow down. It was getting time for me to slow down. Quincy was getting older. I knew that if I kept going, the rumors circulating were going to eventually find a way to get back to him. What would he think of me? Chris is about to take his trip to California. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen out there, but I did feel like Tiana Wallace was about to be an orphan. I knew I didn't want any ties to that. As I was sitting there complimenting all of this in my robe, as I was sitting there contemplating all of this in my robe, sipping my wine on this Friday evening, my doorbell rings. I was not expecting company. I opened the door and found Sean. My heart skipped a beat. Excuse me. I was shocked but recovered quickly. I forced a smile and told him with a slightly slurred speech, "Hey, come on in." Shit, I am way more intoxicated than I thought. Shit, I am way more intoxicated than I thought. Sean entered looking around suspiciously, then turned to me and smiled, saying, "You haven't been returning my calls. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." "I'm fine." He obviously was not here out of concern. He was checking to see who was here. Sean was controlling like that. Yes, even though we were not together and he was dating someone else. He started to make his way to the living room. I attempted to put a quick end to the visit, but it came a little more directly than I intended. "So, since you can see I'm fine, you could let me go to bed now." Part of me wanted him to, Part of me wanted him to stay. As he entered the living room, I was forced to follow. Sean was very direct with his inquiry. "Is someone else waiting for you?" "No. But Sean, we're not together. You're dating someone else. I can fuck whoever I choose." With this, Sean became irate. He fiercely slammed me to the ground. Then he pulled out a 22 and sat on the end table. He turned to me calmly. I was scared. My voice quivered as I pleaded to him. "Sean, please stop. Quincy is here." How did we get here? How did we get to the point that he was in my living room threatening me with a gun? He knelt on one knee and got right in my face to say, "You're mine. You don't have a choice in that now. I can't live without you." He stood up, composing himself. I was terrified as I whimpered, "Sean, that's not love." Sean picked up his gun and cocked it. He looked at me almost thoughtfully and asked, "Have you ever heard of if I can't have you, no one can?" "Sean, please don't. Please. Quincy will hear." Sean smiled and put the gun away, saying, "Oh, this is just for dramatic effect. I would never shoot you. If I was going to kill you, no one would trace it to me. You know how many people I've had to take care of over the years? It would be quiet. Something in your food, something in your drink, something that will never get back to me. I wouldn't shoot you. Do you understand?" I could only nod, tears flowing down my cheeks. He looked at me thoughtfully. As he reached down to help me up, I could do nothing but agree. He's a terrifying monster. Now he wanted to smooth it over, and I had to go along with it? What else could I do? Listen, baby, I don't ever want to hurt you. You know, I really love you. Or I would have moved on. Thinking about living my life without you was just too hard. If someone ever tried to hurt you, I would kill them. My back hurt from where I hit the My back hurt from where I hit it on the table when he shoved me. All I could do as he helped me up was nod that I understood through my streaming tears, which he wiped. He looked toward Quincy's room. "Let me say goodnight." "No, Sean, please." Thinking quickly, "He has to get up in the morning." Sean looked at me with an unreadable look. He was studying me. "Okay, I'm gonna go." Nervously, I walked him to the front door. "This is over, thank God." He kissed me. I didn't want him touching me, but I couldn't refuse. "Kiss Quincy for me." I tried to keep my composure as I replied, "Sure, Sean." He opened the door to leave. The bodyguard that was waiting outside escorted him to the car. This was far worse than I realized. Why would he need a bodyguard at my front door? How was he anticipating this to go? After I shut the door, I had another drink. For tonight, the nightmare was over. I sipped on my wine and cried. The next few days, he sent dozens of flowers. He brought Quincy expensive toys. He didn't want me. He wanted to keep his secret. I'm trapped. He has the authorities under his thumb. I can't go to them. This is like a gangster movie. How high up does his power go? How far is his reach? The FBI, the CIA. Who is not corrupted or won't get silenced by their upper chain of command? Can anyone help me and my child? He found his way back to my bed. I had no choice. Chapter 12, A Mama's Love, page 36. The calamity that ensued behind the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was complicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. This was his friend. No, they were not nearly as close as Sean would have had the public believe, but still. As far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having the off and on again relationship of a normal couple, and I probably just seemed like a money-hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to not having a choice. Today I recognized it for what it was, Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. That is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night I was out with my boyfriend. Yes, we were on again, and we were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace spoke with a smile. "Hello, Sean." "Hi, Kim." I smiled the best I could. What a situation. For all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, "Hi, Miss Wallace." Sean smiled also as he said, "Hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you?" When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation of my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you could send some of that money Chris made with you this way." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. "I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, "These things are difficult, Miss Wallace." Let me read that again. This was the creepiest situation of my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping you could send some of that money Chris made with you this way." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. "I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, "These things are difficult, Mrs. Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy." Miss Wallace pushed further. "I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it?" Sean shook his head as if he was saddened by what he was saying as he continued. "It's not like I can just give you his money. You are entitled to certain amounts. They are just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me to just give you tons of money. You got rich off my son and now you're keeping all his money?" Sean kept his cool as he replied, "I'm afraid business isn't that cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I pay for publishing, publicity. I mean, in all actuality, if I'm going to be straightforward, Mrs. Wallace, Chris probably owed me money. I won't know until it's all worked out." The anger in Miss Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified it as she uttered the only words she could muster. "You bastard." Sean didn't flinch. He just said, "Look at the contract. I'm honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it. But I have investors. I can't just take the money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away." Miss Wallace exploded in response. "You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a goddamn thing." Sean stared her straight in the eye, unwaveringly. Sean stared her straight in the eye, unwaveringly. That word sounds weird. Sean stared her straight in the eye unwaveringly and said, "He would have started making a profit after a few years. His money, until his album sales, paid for studio time, music videos, publishing, and marketing, would have come from doing shows. I'm sorry he isn't here to make that money. I miss him." Her response was deadpan. "Did you kill my son?" Momentarily, Sean was stunned into silence. She asked again, her voice quivering, "Did you?" He started. "Miss Wallace," she would not be redirected. "Answer the question." I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. "No, of course not." She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine as she replied with the menace only a mother can. I don't believe you, Shine. Shine looked at her with the sadness that I knew in my soul had to be fake. Although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him, as he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today I know he was able to muster that false sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then, I thought it was compassion. With no words, Miss Wallace stood up and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief. Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real. If she goes public with her accusations, Sean's image would be damaged. I have felt for myself the extents he will go through in order to protect that image. Chapter 13, Have Some Faith, page 40. The fact of the matter is, Sean was a complete control freak. He was absolutely the worst. But of all the things he did for control, this might have been one of the most despicable ones. We were in the bad boy office one evening, sitting in the lounge area enjoying a meal. Sean was smoking one of those big cigars he liked when Faith entered and sat down with us. She seemed relaxed as she said, "Hey guys." I smiled. I never had any bad vibe from the marvelous Faith Evans. We never talked about the wild time the three of us shared at one of Sean's parties. I gave her a hug. "Hey girl, what's up?" Sean smiled and asked, "Hey, what brings you out?" She addressed Sean saying, "Look, when you asked me to hook up with Chris, I understood. You needed to control him. I felt honored that you chose me to monitor one of your most valuable assets. Chris is sweet." Sean laughed and said, "Honestly, I knew you would be good. Make the big man feel loved." I don't feel good about all this, Sean. Sean got that look in his eye he gets before he blows his top. Faith saw it also. She treaded carefully. "Sean, you know I'm as loyal as they come." Sean leaned forward unintentionally, threatening, and said in a low tone, "Yeah." "But Sean, Chris and I had a child together." Sean leaned back. He let out a deep breath. "I'm going to take care of you. You're not like Chris. You're loyal." Faith had a tear in her eye as she responded, "He didn't have to die. This is getting very touchy." Did she know? Did she suspect? Was this her trying to find out if Sean intentionally killed Biggie? I wanted to ask, but of course there was no way of doing that. This is so crazy. Sean sighed and replied, "He didn't. Don't get me wrong. I miss him, but he was leaving me anyway. No one cares about my pain." Classic narcissistic Sean. It's all about him. I was sickened for a moment, but his next sentence made me feel for him anyway. I wanted to share all this with him. He was my man. Hold on, let me read that one more time. But his next sentence made me feel for him anyway. I wanted to share all this with him. He was my man. Faith couldn't hide the anger that flared in her eyes, but she knew who she was talking to. She was careful as she spoke. "Sean, you have your friends you share things with." Sean sat forward again, this time with malicious intention as he queried, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?" "Chris had no one, only you." Sean lost it. "That fat fuck and that other piece of shit That fat fuck and that other piece of shit I had you fuck? I interjected while in shock. You had her fuck Pac? Sean glared at me as he answered, yes, fucking Pac. Those motherfuckers were going to try to start their own label and compete with me? Me? After all I did for that fat fuck? Nah. I wasn't using my resources to protect that motherfucker. No fucking way. I was hurt. But I didn't hate him. I'll make sure you and CJ are taken care of. Without words, Faith got up to leave. As she turned, Sean spoke softly. Faith? She ignored him. He called to her again. Faith. She exited quickly. Sean just looked at me and said, damn. I really didn't know what to say. Sean just told Faith that he wouldn't protect her husband because he was going to leave Bad Boy. From a business perspective, I didn't disagree with Sean there. If you're leaving and creating competition for him, why would he spend resources on you? So I hugged Sean. But I also knew he didn't have to send Chris to California. I wondered if he realized that he sentenced him to death. He hugged me back with tears in his eyes as he asked, how the fuck am I the bad guy, huh? I fucking do nothing but bust my ass to make everyone live comfortably, and I'm supposed to just let niggas walk all over me? As I held him in a comforting embrace, I replied, no, baby. He took me right there on the couch. Like I said, Stockholm Syndrome. I'm trying to debate if I should keep going. I'm going to keep going just a little bit. Chapter 14, Outshine, page 43. This particular evening, I was at Sean's house, and Quincy was staying with a friend. It was some alone time for Sean and I until the doorbell rang, and Sean got up to answer it. I heard a woman yelling and quickly realized that it was Jennifer Lopez, or better known to the world as J-Lo. Sean, what the fuck? She blasted. Sean responded calmly, relax, baby. Why the hell did you have to start shooting? Isn't that why we have bodyguards? Normally, let me start this whole thing over again. Sean, what the fuck? She blasted. Sean responded calmly, relax, baby. Why the hell did you have to start shooting? Isn't that what we have bodyguards for? Normally, when these kinds of situations arise, I remain quiet and just listen. I play my position, you could say, but I wasn't paying attention to the news for the last day or so. And even though it would be the only thing anyone would talk to me about for months, no one had spoken to me about it yet. So I entered the foyer asking, what's going on? Jennifer exploded at me. What's going on? What's going on? This nigga shot up a damn club. My jaw dropped, looking back and forth between the two. Sean spoke soothingly. Jen, you gotta calm down. Jennifer was having none of it. She continued, calm down? Calm down? You shot a bunch of innocent people, Sean. Sean placed his hand on her forearm. It's a bonding technique. He was shrewd in handling her. He does this to me too. Even if you know what's happening, it works. It's an intimate contact without being personal. He was aiming to disarm her. This did not seem to immediately sway Jennifer as she continued. Why in the hell do you think Biggie's replacement will take the fall for you? Biggie's replacement? Wait, could she be talking about... I had to know. Are you talking about Shine? Shyne. Yes, y'all remember that Shine. Jennifer didn't even look at me as she responded, yes, fucking Shine. Shine continued with a calm and even voice. Relax. The situation is under control. Jennifer was not calming down. She went on. They contacted my attorney for my statement. And there are a lot of witnesses, Shine. There is no way you're going to get away with this. Shine's arrogance can be immeasurable at times. He laughed as he asked, you doubting me? I couldn't believe it. I had to know. Shine, what could you offer him that would make you do a bid for you? Like, what the fuck? Jennifer also remarked, and if what he falters halfway through his sentence and starts talking? And what if he falters halfway through his sentence and starts talking? Sean responded as calmly as ever. He won't do that. People in jail don't cross connected people on the outside. Jennifer looked deflated. So you'll kill him too? Ding, 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 ding. So Jennifer Lopez knew that Biggie was a target then, huh? Pull that bitch into the back room and talk to her ass. We need a statement. Thick. How much does she know? Look, I'm not going to threaten anyone. Sean is smart and loyal. He knows how it works. And when he gets out, he'll be well taken care of. Jennifer spoke defiantly. Sean, they want to question me. I'm not perjuring myself. I'm not going to jail over this. She seemed so in control. Sean seemed so in control. I admired him for his... Sean seemed so in control. I admired him for it at this point, but my spirit was broken. I felt bad for Jennifer. She catches one bad break after another, and this was really a bad break. Sean spoke with confidence. Relax. Come in. Have a drink. Have your lawyers call mine. You'll never see the witnesses stand. I promise. Jennifer wasn't so sure. She asked him, how can you possibly know that? Sean smiled as he replied, between Shine's confession and the witnesses that gave their accounts, the cops won't need much else. The statement from your lawyer will be fine. Jennifer's next concern popped up. She explained, my attorney? Sean, he's good, but he won't do this. Beaming with confidence the way only a man with his net worth can, Sean responded, sure he will. Jennifer shook her head defiantly as she responded, Sean, you don't know him. Sean's unbreakable confidence was ruling the day. Jennifer was giving in as he told her with a smile, I got this. Sean, are you sure? Sean gave a wink. My attorneys handle situations. Give him my number too. Jennifer seemed leery as she asked, you're not going to threaten my attorney? Sean laughed as he replied, no, of course not. Money talks, baby. He turned to me and said, take her inside and pour her a drink. I had a question of my own. But you were going to make Sean the label's go-to man? What are you going to do now? Sean looked disappointed as he responded. He had the voice, but his flow, he sighed. Well, artists with his talent are a dime a dozen. Looking at Jen, he continued. He's not a once-in-a-lifetime find like Jennifer Lopez. She blushed slightly. Sean continued, let's grab that drink. Let me handle this attorney situation. Relax, don't worry. We left the foyer and went to have a seat in the living room. He tried to make a threesome happen that night. It didn't work out. Not that day. Chapter 15, Queen bitch, page 47. Kimora Simmons and I went out to have drinks. She was looking at me seductively, and I was turned on. We were going to go back to my place afterwards, but suddenly, after a sip of my drink, I felt like I had to vomit. I excused myself and barely made it to the ladies' room. When I came back, Kimura said, "You feeling okay?" "I'm fine. I've been under the weather the last couple of days. I think I'll head home." She said, "Your breasts are looking kind of plump there, girl." Embarrassed, I whispered, "Not in public." She replied simply, "Are you pregnant?" I was taken completely aback. "Why the hell would you say that?" She let it sit there for a minute. I bet in her head she was like, wait for it, wait for it. Then it hit me. Shit. She gave me a minute before continuing. "So what you gonna do?" I didn't understand. Gonna do? If it's not Sean's, fuck. If it is. With the shock wearing off, the scope of the situation began to take hold. I responded, "I better get a test." She looked at me with pity. "Damn, girl, good luck. After what he did to Chris, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes." The desire that was in her eyes before I got sick was all but gone. As I began to stand, I realized what she said to me, and I paused. She looked at me flatly and said, "Ain't nobody stupid, girl." I didn't know what to say. The question still lingered in my mind despite everything I knew. Did Puffy intentionally kill Chris? She brought me back to the moment by saying, "Go!" Not knowing what else to say, but knowing I had to deal with my situation right now, I replied, "I'll hit you up." She sighed and simply repeated, "Good luck." Chapter 16, Christian, page 49. The next day, I was sitting on my couch, deep in thought, when the doorbell rang. I went to let Sean in. This was going to be scary. We made our way back to the living room and we sat down. Quincy was asleep. Sean seemed legitimately concerned. "What's so urgent?" I didn't know what else to do. I just blurted it out. "I'm pregnant." The air in the room was as thick as J-Lo. He was quiet. What is he thinking? He asked the obvious question. "Are you sure?" I spoke rapidly. "I was on the pill. I'll get rid of it. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know." "That's wonderful. This is great." I was so confused. Huh? You're not mad? He laughed. "Mad? No. Why would I be mad at this wonderful news? I'm going to be a dad with the woman I love bearing my child. What could possibly be better?" He jumped right on the phone and called one of his besties. I could hear Will Smith congratulating him. Sean said, "Yeah, definitely." "Hold on. Kim, baby." I was still in awe of the fact that he didn't get angry. And yes, I will admit, I was sure he was going to hit me. So it was with relief when I replied, "Yes." He told me excitedly, "We gotta have a party." His excitement was contagious. I was getting really excited too. "Yes, a gender reveal and..." He cut me off. "Yes, of course, we're doing all of that stuff, but everyone is going to want to sleep with you right before you give birth." My heart sank in my chest. "Everybody is going to what?" Sean went on with excitement. "Well, not everybody. You know, Will, Jada, XXX. "Sean, I'm having your baby." He verbally waved me off. "It'll be fine." I couldn't help myself. I just started crying. Sean grew quiet on the phone, then spoke low. "I'll call you back." He hung up and took me by the hand. "Baby, I never asked anything from you." I tried to see him through the tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. I tried to speak. "Sean." He cut me off. "I provide everything anyone could ever want. Do you want for anything?" Sobbing, I replied. "No, but..." He continued, This is the kind of thing I have to do in order to continue giving you this comfortable lifestyle where you live in the lap of luxury and get to be on TV shows and in movies. I know you don't want this, but do you want all of this to go away? A whimper is all I could manage. No, he continued softly. Then we gotta do this, I said. A whimper is all I could manage. No, he continued softly. Then we gotta do this, I said. But Sean, I don't believe in all this spiritual crazy shit. We got here because you're brilliant, not because of the sex parties. He replied, Do you trust me? I did. My soul was so broken. I did, I responded. Yes, he sighed as he said, Then let's do what we need to do to keep what we have. As I nodded yes, he pulled me in to hug me. Thank you, baby. We are going to have a beautiful baby. He ordered me some food, and that night I cried myself to sleep. I was going to be gangbanged at 9 months pregnant. I want my children out of this life. My child's going to have a good biblical name, a heavy Christian name. They are not going to take his soul. He talking about that firstborn son that looked just like P. Diddy. I think they might got his soul already, baby girl, because he's got charges on him as well. Chapter 17, Broken Promises, page 51. I don't know how this managed to stay out of the media for so long, but Sean got to the point where he was incredibly abusive, and only his inner circle knew about it. The artists were all too afraid of him to say anything. He had gained so much power. No one would say anything. Puff Daddy was a kingpin. This Monday afternoon, Quincy was in school, and our son Christian was with the nanny. And I still had to make a living. I still loved the camera and had just been cast for a new movie. Sean was coming over to celebrate with me, just the two of us. I was in the bathroom when he came in. We were supposed to go out for dinner, but he was in a foul mood. Sean yelled, What the fuck? I would have to walk on eggshells as I came out of the bathroom, but I found him holding flowers, so I smiled. You brought me flowers? Sean yelled, No? So who the fuck are they from? I was bewildered. I told him honestly, I don't know, probably just a fan. He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up to read it. Sean, He slapped me so hard I hit the ground. Sean yelled, Who the fuck were you with the other night? I looked down at the card that was lying on the ground next to me and it read, The other night was amazing. We must do it again. Shit, I tried to explain. Sean! He threw the flowers at me. That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it. I yelled back. It was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing. He glared at me and asked, Who the fuck is this producer? I was trying desperately to calm him down as I responded, From the movie, babe, calm down. He picked up my coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere as he yelled, Who the fuck this nigga think he is? Sean, he's just some producer. We talked about the role and me maybe starring in another movie that he wants me to produce in. I swear. That's it, Sean. Sean exploded even more. He wants to put the move on my fucking family? At the top of his lungs. My fucking family? He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table, but Sean is stronger than he looks. I pleaded with him, Sean, please. He yelled at me. What? I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know. It didn't come up. You're publicly dating someone else, so He screamed at me, and it somehow seemed even more intense. So you didn't tell him back off? Sean, I didn't. And then out of nowhere, he hit me with a chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in a hospital room. My arm was in a cast hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain, as was my lip. As I came to, the first face I saw was of the man that put me here. Sean asked with concern in his voice, "How are you feeling?" I responded, "Stay away from me. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I save it for the lawyers. Stay away from me." We were in a private hospital room and no one would hear me. I could scream like my life depended on it, but it wouldn't matter. If I did ring for assistance, I wouldn't get any. He kept going. "I was just so jealous. You know how I am. You have..." He took hold of my left arm, the one that was not slung up in a cast. "You have our beautiful son, our family. It's just..." At that point, I had had enough. "The one you slutted out right before giving birth? Are you fucking shitting me? Stay away from me. Don't ever come near me or my kids." He continued to plead. "I'm sorry, baby. I promise. I'll never put my hands on you again, I swear." I've heard this song one too many times. I spoke through gritted teeth. "If you come near me or my kids again, I'm calling the cops." A flash of anger returned. "You would use my kid to threaten me?" But then he caught himself. "I understand you're angry." I glared at him as I cut him off. "I'm serious, Sean." He spoke blandly with no energy. "And tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head." He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe him. Sorry, guys. He spoke blandly, with no energy. "And tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head." He was going to make me look crazy, and they were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. You're a fucking bastard. Sean spent the next 6 months helping me heal and working his way back into my life and into my bed. I was so damn stupid, and of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, the producer died of pneumonia. Chapter 18, Sweet Goodbyes, page 54. Sean kept his word for the most part, until he didn't. I ended up pregnant again. He wanted energy for that too. That would be my last sex party. My body will never be ravaged by so many people again, especially while I'm pregnant. What if something had happened to the twins? After that, I wanted out. But when I tried dating someone else, they would end up dead from pneumonia. I knew Sean was behind it. This was not a coincidence. He gets jealous of a guy and they die of pneumonia. I could be next. If I'm going to get out of this alive, I'm going to have to do something to make him stay away from me. I had a plan, but it's dangerous. So I kind of want to rewind a little bit when she said, "I ended up pregnant again." He wanted energy from that too, which is why they did the sex parties, to generate energy. He wanted energy. So when Christian was born, when she was pregnant, they did a orgy or whatever with her to get energy from her being pregnant, from the baby and whatnot. They did some sex magic. What she talking about right now? She's pregnant. She's pregnant with them two girls, them twins. He wanted energy from that too, so they had another orgy. Sex magic. This motherfucker was doing work as the hoodoo, voodoo, yeah, they were doing work. Work as in spiritual work. No, literally, he was doing sex magic. Sean has a vault where he keeps videotapes of all his conquests. I started sleeping with him again. After he falls asleep, he was starting to drink heavily. I would get into the vault and get a couple of the tapes, take them home, make copies, and swap them for the next set of tapes a few days later. It took weeks to get them all copied, and he never knew that I had them. This was my way out. Some of the tapes had things I would never have expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys, like Usher, Little Bow Wow, and Justin Bieber, I would have never known. My God, is he grooming Quincy? This has to end. I invited him over one day to confront him and put an end to our on again, off again relationship. He entered my home unannounced for the last time. He would no longer have the key after today. I was in the kitchen. Kimura and I were sharing drinks. I was scared to face him alone. Sean entered, smiling. "What's up, Kimmy?" "Hey, Mora." I told Sean, "Sit down." Because of my tone, he looked at me stunned and asked, "What's going on?" "What is this?" I responded with delight. "Me taking back my life. We're done." He answered, "Hold on, wait a minute." I was so excited that I wasn't hearing any of it. I shouted at him, "No, no more. This is fucking over." He looked confused as he asked, "Where is all of this coming from?" With disgust, I said, "I got the footage, Sean." He looked even more confused as he inquired, "What are you talking about?" Kimura said with revolution. Kimura said with revulsion, "Usher too?" Sean said, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?" Sean stood aggressively and Kimura responded, "Don't make me call the cops." Sean's anger was creeping in as he replied, "This is how it is?" I simply nodded. "If anything happens to either one of us, it gets released." He seethed as he queried, "After all I've done for you?" I don't think I was ever so happy as when I said those words to him. "Get out." Pissed, he started to leave, looking back with pure hatred. As he walked down the stairs, he turned around in a fury and lunged at me. He knocked me down near the top of the stairs. I was hurt. Kimura screamed, "Stop!" As he began to crouch over me, I kicked at him, hitting him in the kneecap, then his face. He went tumbling down the stairs. He was too hurt to get up. I called the cops. Kimura left before they arrived. When he left, it was in an ambulance. I felt empowered. I felt safe. The Sean Combs days had finally come to an end. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. Finale. Page 57. Things were okay for a while. I started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died of pneumonia. I knew it. It was Sean. Again. That's when I decided to write this book. A few days ago, my home was burglarized. Only laptops were stolen. I knew it was that bastard. Or his goons. Of course, I had a copy in the cloud that I was able to easily download here onto this new computer. As I continue to write now, I'll send this into the cloud as well. I will send out copies via email, and my Google Drive password will be attached so the missing chapters can be accessed. This book must get out. There are so many more chapters to add. This outline is a great start. I have to organize the rest of the chapters and add them in little by little. I planned on spending today working on exactly that, but I'm not feeling very well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend, so I can rest. I called Kimura to cancel our tentative plans for a meetup. When I spoke to her, she said, "Girl, that doesn't sound like the flu. You want to go to the hospital?" I told her, "I just need some rest," and quickly got off the phone. "But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone?" Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom where I'm lying in the... But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom where I'm lying in my bed. All I could think about was the kids. My babies who are with this monster. The man that I now suspect of have done this to me. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that led me to know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. "Hello?" I screamed at him. "You bastard! I have your fucking children." "What are you talking about? The kids are with me," he replied with a mocking innocence. There's literally nothing I can do. I could only ask, "Did you ever love me?" Instead of answering the question, he responded, "The most important thing to me in this world is loyalty." I couldn't believe it. I had to ask, even though I understood. "What the fuck does that mean?" With the same fiend innocence, he mocked, "Kim, is something wrong?" He's going to continue this game to the bitter end. I asked one last time, "How could you?" Again, with the narcissism I had now come to despise, he responded, "How could I? Do what? I gave you everything. You went to someone else. You left me just like everyone else did." You ask, "How could I?" How could I what? I yelled, "Look what you did to everyone around you." There was only anger in his response. "So you're saying everyone leaves because of how I am? And you were going to expose me?" He had me burglarized. I knew it. I shouldn't have threatened him. I should have just published the book. I'm going to die. Like Heavy D, like Biggie, like Pac, like so many others. And it's because he is a monster, plain and simple. Before hanging up, I simply say, "That's not the only copy, you fuck." Then I shoot out a group text. I let everyone know he got me. Then I called 911. As I sit here waiting for the ambulance, I am writing this chapter and praying that I make it to the hospital. I don't feel like writing anymore. I may not be around to see it print. It's okay. I'm sending it out. He won't get away with this. I will have my say, my final words. Sean Combs will get exposed, even if I lose my life behind it. My kids have always been my most cherished possessions. I want the world to know that. But more importantly, I want them to know. That's all she wrote, y'all. Literally, the last couple words to end this book is, I want them to know dot dot dot. And with that, we are done. That was the reading of Kim's Lost Words, reading it live. This is the second parter. The first part you should be able to see if you go to my lives. That is the last one I did. This is obviously the second one. And I hope you got something from the book. This is my first time like ever reading on live, like reading a full book on live, without me really reading it any other time. So yeah, and if you want to hear this story but broken down into smaller bits and parts, meaning smaller videos, that is also available, parts 1 through 6. That is not lives, those are regular videos. That is all where you know it to be as a YouTuber, and that is all for Kim's Lost Words. Good night, y'all.